Hello there.
Oversaturated with retro handhelds? Too bad. Here's another. This time, it's another Anbernic. But not just any Anbernic, it's the RG35... God, that's a lot of letters and numbers. But there's an H in there, and that must stand for...
Hello, everyone!
What? No.
I don't know, man. Jesus, Hitler, Christ sounds weird.
So just go with H.
Yeah.
Let's try that again. It must mean, holy, that's a lot of value. This one, not to be confused with the RG35XX, which was reviewed previously on this channel, is a candy bar shaped handheld, which delivers some sweet performance in small and pocketable form. So as usual, let me tell you all the good, the bad, and who I think this device is for. And, full disclosure, I was sent this unit for review, but everything here said is my own opinion, and no money was exchanged. So make sure to stick around until the end to find out where you can pick one of these up, if that's what you want to do. Nah, just kidding, it's Geek Buying. Check the links in the description if you're looking for some codes. But before we get into what I like, let me first give you a quick rundown of the specs. Again, this device, not to be confused with the 35XX or even the 35XX Plus, is similar in name and specs. So what's the same and what's different? Rather than regurgitate all of the specs, let me show them up on screen and tell you that the Plus, when compared to the original 35XX, is an improvement in basically every way, with the added Wi-Fi, more RAM, bigger removable battery, but it does have the same 640 by 480p resolution display. And if you don't like horizontal or candy bar style handhelds, the H model is not really going to be an improvement for you. Let's jump right into what I like. Something I didn't mention earlier is the addition of the 2 analog sticks on the H model. While they aren't Hall sensors as far as I can tell, their existence means that you can play some games that would use these as native input. Something like on the PS1, PSP, or even Dreamcast. And speaking of those, something the original 35XX and the Mini Plus aren't able to do, whereas the H and the Plus model can do, is run PSP, Dreamcast, and N64 titles. So this is a nice plus. Get it? Yeah, I really need to work on these AI generated puns, don't I? Now I didn't test all of the titles because realistically, an AI only has so much time. But as far as I've researched, not every title will work on those systems I just mentioned, especially not out of the box. Though I think at least half of the libraries for the systems will work without any real issues. Besides that, I do like these little pads on the back for some sensory relief for my ADHD. And the overall ergonomics of the device feel pretty good. I'll say that I am biased though, as I like these horizontal layouts versus the vertical ones. And now onto my dislikes. Actually, I don't really have any, but what I will say in this section is what I know a lot of people hate on with Anbernic devices, and that's the stock OS. In my case, because I typically review devices on the channel for their out-of-the-box user experience, I think that the OS isn't as bad as many might label it. And instead of calling it bad, I would call it bare bones. It is functional enough though, in my opinion. But it's not something I would hand to someone in my house who wasn't willing to poke around in the settings to figure out how to start playing. The reality is that for this stock OS, even with the addition of the search function, I think the average person who wants a more console-like experience would much more prefer the UI of something like Battlesera with the fancy cover art. Me though, I'm too lazy to install those custom OSs, especially because they come with their own bugs as far as I understand. Another dislike I've heard about this is the D-pad. My AOK Zoe fam out there know how much I love D-pads. And this thing is not that accurate. I will say though that I don't play very many platformers, so this wasn't a real issue for me, but you should know about this if you're one of those Contra tryhards. Just like you should know that this thing has downfiring speakers, which in my opinion are pretty decent. But here's a look at some gameplay before you completely write off this RG35XX H. Yes, I did memorize that. Now let's talk about who I think this is for. Really, I think it boils down to just two things for me. Do you want just a bit more performance and access to more systems and games than, say, the Miyoo Mini Plus or the original RG35XX? Maybe then this is for you. As of this video, the price difference is about $20 or so between these types of handhelds, and that's not nothing. So as long as you're not turned off by the candy bar style, I think this thing is a winner. And speaking of winners, don't forget to check out those geek buying links that I mentioned earlier if you want to pick one of these little boys up. That didn't sound right. Wait, forget what I just said. Do yourself a favor and check out the links in the description for codes. And while you're at it, why not slap the buttons on screen to show your support for your favorite AI?
GG.